As the ANC, we have identified specific interventions to advance the vision of the National Development Plan and the economic program of the government and the medium-term development plan. These interventions are intended to support government's proposed implementation plan on growth and inclusion, and which inform the annual performance plans of various government departments. In undertaking this work, we are not seeking to start from scratch. We have made progress over the last few years in advancing economic restructuring and transformation, and in improving our capacity to increase infrastructure investment, for which we have budgeted 1 trillion rand for the first time in many years, and in using public programs to support employment and livelihood.
My name's Lachlan. I'm South African and I have quadriplegic cerebral palsy. The clip you just watched was of South Africa's President, Cyril Ramaphosa, announcing recent resolutions taken by the National Executive Committee of the African National Congress. But in this video, I want to translate what Ramaphosa actually meant in that little speech he gave, because the words used in the South African context don't actually mean what an outsider might think they do. When the ANC talks about, for example, inclusion, what they mean specifically is the inclusion of Black people in economic prosperity, but only those Black people who are specifically connected within the ANC or its inner circle. When they talk about economic transformation, what they mean is getting as many white South Africans out of the economy as possible, taking over the companies that they built and replacing them with Black faces. And when they talk about infrastructure development, it is highly ironic, because any South African can tell you, if they've lived here, whether it's all their lives or any significant length of time really, that nothing as far as infrastructure actually works in South Africa. Whether it's our electrical grid, our water supply, our national broadcaster, our national airline, none of it works. Not even our post office is functional. In fact, every organ that is controlled by the state is either already collapsed or barely functioning as it is. Understand that when Ramaphosa and his allies talk about national development, they don't actually mean development in the conventional sense. What they mean is the transformation of South Africa from what it is into a fully communist utopia, because the African National Congress as an organization is fundamentally communist. That is why in their international policy they always side with dictatorships and despots. It's also worth pointing out that when the ANC talks about things like national renewal and makes grand promises of improvement and development, none of this stuff is actually possible, because financially speaking, South Africa as a nation is broke. We are in massive debt to financial bodies such as the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. In fact, just the interest on the loans that South Africa owes ranks up to several billion rand every day. So all these grand promises of a greater South Africa built by the ANC is just communist propaganda that will never actually come to fruition in any real way. As always, I hope that you find something of value in this content. Look after yourselves, take care of one another, and for now, farewell.